In the headlines, Federal High Court to deliver judgment on Cross River State Governor's defection to APC Thursday. Cheering news for job seekers as President Buhari signs Executive Order 11. 3 killed, many abducted as terrorists attack Taraba Mosque during Iftar. And on the foreign scene, former Burkina Faso President Blaise Compaoré sentenced to life for murder of Sankara. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. A federal high court in Abuja has deferred judgment in the defection suit against Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River State. Justice Taiwo on Wednesday deferred the matter to enable lawyers address the court on the legal issues raised by the Court of Appeal judgment on Ebonyi governor's defection. The Court of Appeal in Enugu had on April 1st held that the Constitution did not make provision for the removal of a governor, deputy or president and vice president who defect to another political party. The court had earlier ordered 20 lawmakers comprising 18 members of the Cross River State House of Assembly and 2 members of the House of Representatives to vacate their seats following their defection from the PDP to the APC alongside the governor. Meanwhile, a federal high court sitting in Abuja on Tuesday stopped Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State and the Edo State Independent Electoral Commission from conducting local government elections in the state. Justice Taiwo, while granting the motion ex parte, added that he is of the view that the alleged infraction in the Edo State electoral laws vis-a-vis the Electoral Act 2022 as canvassed by the plaintiffs is worth looking at by the court. In the suit, the Edo State Commission is the 3rd defendant, while the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Attorney General of Edo State, Speaker, Edo State House of Assembly, Clerk, Edo State House of Assembly, People's Democratic Party, and Dr. Iochia Ayu are the 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th defendants. The applicants are challenging the validity of the Edo State electoral law, which allows for the holding of elections within 15 days from the date of the publication of notice for the conduct of election. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed Executive Order 11 on National Public Building Maintenance Policy. The signing of the document was done before the start of Wednesday's Federal Executive Council meeting at the Council Chambers of the State House, Abuja. The President, while speaking shortly before appending his signature, directed all ministries, departments and agencies of government to set up maintenance departments in line with the provision of the new executive order. He said the order now gives legal backing to the country's national maintenance policy, following its earlier approval by the Federal Executive Council.
Presented a policy memorandum to the Federal Executive Council seeking for the approval of a draft national public building maintenance policy, which was granted. The policy set out guidelines for the maintenance of federal government buildings and assets in accordance with professional standards in order to ensure the protection and lasting utilization of the investments that have been made by way of provision of public infrastructure. The memorandum recommended and government accepted that maintenance of public buildings and facility management was not a matter of culture or lack of it, but a conscious economic driver that was required to support the output from our technical and vocational educational institutions by putting their skills into gainful and rewarding engagements. The memorandum highlighted federal public institutions such as federal government colleges, federal correctional facilities, federal court buildings, and federal secretariats where maintenance and facility management were immediately required, and recommended that these should be extended to all buildings owned and
The federal government has uncovered 1,500 workers who joined the Federal Civil Service with fake appointment letters. Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi, made the disclosure in Abuja on Tuesday. She stated that those identified will be removed from the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System, IPPIS. Yemi spoke at the National Policy Dialogue on entrenching transparency in public office recruitment in Nigeria. She said over 1,000 persons were discovered in one ministry, while 500 others were found in other ministries, departments and agencies. And now to politics, where some People's Democratic Party stakeholders, led by former Senate President Senator Bukola Saraki, have visited Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State. Saraki, while speaking with journalists, said that the visit was to brief Governor Makinde on the plan for a consensus candidate among the presidential aspirants. Saraki disclosed that since the focus of the party was centered on providing a credible and people-oriented government for Nigerians, all aspirants were ready to abide by the position of the party. For his part, Makinde promised to work for the success of the consensus arrangement, assuring that any confusion that arises will be addressed.
We ourselves as a party must be ready for government in 2023, and that part includes uniting ourselves and being focused that it is not about our individual interests, it's the interests of Nigeria that matters. We, of course, all have individual interests when we be president, but we decided in meetings that we're ready to subject ourselves to a consensus agreement. That consensus agreement is not just one for one part of the country, or that the North. No, it's a consensus agreement for the PDP as a party.
I promised my elder brothers, that we will work hand in hand, work together to ensure that this consensus arrangement is successful. So I've also said that internally we will ensure that people understand what we're trying to do, and where there's any item of doubt or confusion, we will put a mechanism in place where that will get addressed almost immediately as well.
And still talking politics, there are still uncertainties about zoning principle in the People's Democratic Party, as its 37-member committee of the party unanimously agreed to a common position on the presidential ticket of the party ahead of the 2023 elections. Announcing the resolution of the committee in Abuja, its chairman and Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom says the position taken by the committee will be communicated to the National Executive Committee of the party for further action. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
After months of uncertainty with regards to the zoning arrangement of the People's Democratic Party, Nigeria's leading opposition party, with intense interests, intense lobbying and horse trading and consultations, all geared towards the zoning arrangement of the party, the 37-member committee of the party, which is being chaired by the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, just rose from a closed-door session, and of course told journalists that there was a unanimous decision, on a standpoint or on a position taken, which is going to be communicated to the National Executive Committee of the party.
By the grace of God, we have unanimously adopted a position that will be sent to the neck of our party that appointed us. So the good news for our teeming supporters of the PDP and Nigerians is that we have resolve, and every one of us, the 37 members, unanimously adopted the position we are going to present to NEC.
There is also an ongoing consultation among some top presidential contenders of northern extraction, led by the former Senate President Bukola Saraki, alongside Aminu Tambol, the governor of Sokoto State, and Bala Mohammed, Bauchi State Governor. They've said severally they are also in touch with another leading contender, talking about the Wazirin Adamawa, the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, to arrive at the consensus. So the situation within the PDP, that is the major opposition People's Democratic Party in Nigeria, is still cloudy. But then there are indications one of the key challenge that has remained an obstacle and an albatross of all the political parties in Nigeria, that is the zoning arrangement, might have been disposed by this committee led by the governor of Benue State, Samuel Otam. From the Benue Governor's Lodge here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. Coming up after the break, how rope making changes village life. This and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now a look at some of our top stories. Federal High Court in Abuja has deferred judgment in the defection suit against Governor Ben Ayade of Cross River State to Thursday. And President Muhammadu Buhari has signed Executive Order 11 on National Public Building Maintenance Policy. Now moving on to other news. A group of terrorists on Tuesday attacked a mosque at Baba Juli village in Bali local government area of Taraba State while worshippers were breaking their fast, killing 3 persons. The terrorists also abducted many worshippers from inside the mosque and took them to an unknown location. The incident, it was gathered, occurred at about 6:25 p.m. Reports say the terrorists, numbering over 50, invaded the village and attacked the Jumaat mosque. The worshippers had assembled in the mosque to break their fast when they were attacked by the terrorists. Police spokesperson for Tribal Command, DSP Usman Abdullahi, who confirmed the incident, said he was waiting for more details from the police divisional office in Bali. Meanwhile, suspected bandits have attacked Barakallahu community in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. According to some of the residents who spoke to Trust TV, the bandits stormed the community in large numbers around 1 a.m., shooting sporadically. The Police Public Relations Officer, ASP Jaliye Muhammad, said the police, after receiving a distress call, moved to the scene, engaged the bandits in a gun battle for more than 2 hours, and succeeded in chasing them away from the community with no casualty. The bandits were suspected to be in the community to rustle cows. A suspected supplier of psychoactive substances to traffickers in Taraba State, Lami Merigima, has been arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, months after being on their wanted list. A statement by the agency's Director, Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, said the 40-year-old queen of the drug world came under the Anti-Narcotic Agency's searchlight when several traffickers arrested in the state in 2021 and early this year fingered her as their supplier. The manhunt for Lami paid off on Monday, 4th April, when operatives tracked her to her hideout in Iwari village in Ardokola local government area of Taraba State.
Brushes, and what you have under it is Ramadan 225. Remove all the brushes now. Once you remove all the brushes, what you have there is Ramadan 225 milligram, which is called Vectra. Bring more out. These are what we have. All through. Brushes, come together, and wash it. Under the brushes, all we have are Ramadan. Can be easily concealed because of the color. While the packets have red,
Now, local rope from raffia plant is a business of people, mostly rural dwellers in northern Nigeria. Locals, mostly from communities in Katsina, make ropes from these tropical plants called raffia to complement their means of livelihood, especially during dry seasons. Trust TV visits Mashi Market in Katsina State to see how the business of rope making thrives and how it turns around the economic lives of those engaged in it. Abdullahi Yamadi tells us more.
Mashi Market is located some 30 kilometers east of the ancient city of Katsina on Daura Road. These people buy ropes from the locals and transport them to the southern part of Nigeria, where they are used to tie kola nuts and sugarcane. We take these ropes to faraway Lagos, Shagamu, some parts of Bauchi, and of course some parts of Adamawa State for sale. They used to tie sugarcane and other, so they use it for so many purposes. Out of this rope business, we get what we eat, we put our body and souls together, and we make some benefits out of it. Besides buying food, we take care of our families, and so on and so forth. Local ropes are also to make fences, sheds in local markets, and other domestic purposes. The business also helps the locals economically as it complements their livelihood. I can tell you, we used to get what we want from this business. When we come to the market, we sell this raffia plant. Sometimes we bring the ropes, then we sell them. We get what we buy cranes from the sales we made. Modernization has also crept into this local trade, as many have devised the use of rugs, barks of trees, and other fibers in rope making. However, in spite of all this, the rope making from raffia plant continues to thrive and give people the much needed comfort. Another thing that has a similar economic value made from raffia plant is a hand-woven mat and hat. These products are also diminishing as they are being replaced by rubber mats. Stakeholders in the business are calling for government intervention to revive the sector and save it from extinction. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
You're still watching Trust TV News Update. The news continues after this. Stay with us.
Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their followers to engage in violence, destruction of properties, and then taking of lives. Be vigilant. By their words you shall know them. Shun violence. Stay away from politicians who want you to do so. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NORA.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Muslims in Oshogbo, Osun State capital, on Tuesday staged a peaceful protest against attempts by the Railway Property Management Company Limited to reallocating the railway setback that Muslims have been using as Eid prayer ground for more than 20 years to Pastor Bukola Solomon. Speaking on behalf of the Osun Coalition of Muslims for Justice at the Eid prayer ground located at Oke Onitia area of Oshogbo, Barrister Kazim Oyedeji said Muslims will continue to use the land as Eid prayer ground. Hamid Oyebade filed in this report.
It's the rumble before the storm. The Muslim community in Oshogbo has been using this land as Eid praying ground since 2015. There has been no breach of contract on the part of the community, which is why it finds it strange that this land is being reallocated.
The Nigeria Railway Corporation granted the Muslim community of Bushra Mosque, number 9, Oriade Anifose Street, Okeoniti area, Osogbo, a piece of land for their use as Muslim Eid prayer ground, with only a condition that no permanent structure is built on it. Since then, the Muslim community has continued the use of the land for the purpose for which it was granted, and abiding with the condition attached there.
This rather awkward situation could lead to tensions between the Muslim and Christian communities.
We agree with us that this is high level of insensitivity and an action capable of causing religious unrest. We want to, on behalf of the entire Muslim Ummah in Osun State, warn that Muslims will not fold their arms when a piece of land meant for the use of Eid prayer ground is being converted for other use. We therefore want to call on all stakeholders and lovers of peace to call Mr. Innocent Agbaji and his friend Pastor Bukola Solomon to order.
Luckily, this situation may not deteriorate beyond this gathering storm. Probably realizing how delicate the situation was, the official of the Nigerian Railway Corporation in question explained that he had reversed the reallocation.
And medical researchers say Nigeria needs $500 million annual investment to carry out research against infectious diseases. They made the observation during a research colloquium on COVID-19 treatment in Nigeria, organized by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health, the Nigeria Institute for Medical Research, NIMR, and key stakeholders in Abuja. The objective of the colloquium by the Nigeria COVID-19 Research Coalition is to showcase high-quality research on COVID-19 conducted in Nigeria that is relevant both locally and globally. The meeting also is to identify gaps in the research landscape as regards COVID-19 and other health emergencies and chart a course for health research priorities in Nigeria.
If you look at the requirements and the proposition by the African Union for countries in Africa to actually proceed and make sure that they have 1% of their GDP as a contribution to R&D for national development. Our national GDP is trending at around 500 billion, between 450 and 500 billion currently. If you look at 1% of that, it's going to be giving you around 5 billion USD. As at present, Tech Fund that is holding the highest grant portfolio for the country in terms of research is trending around 20 million USD. So you can actually calculate the gap between 5 billion USD that is required for our national economic development in terms of R&D and 20 million that we have.
Now a look at the foreign scene, where Burkina Faso's former president, Blaise Compaoré, has received a life sentence in absentia for his role in the assassination of his revolutionary predecessor, Thomas Sankara. Sankara, aged 37, was gunned down along with 12 others during the 1987 coup d'etat that brought Compaoré to power. The pair had been close friends and had jointly seized power in 1983. Sankara remains a hero for many across Africa because of his anti-imperialistic stance and austere lifestyle. 13 others were also found guilty, including Compaoré's security chief, Hyacinth Kafando, who was accused of leading the hit squad that killed Sankara. And now in sports, the Executive Committee of the Nigeria Football Federation has mandated one of the federation's subcommittees to, within the next 5 days, recommend a new coaching crew for the Super Eagles. The mandate is one of the decisions of the committee it took at its first formal meeting since Nigeria's failure to qualify for the 2022 FIFA World Cup billed for Qatar. The meeting, held on Tuesday in Abuja and attended both physically and virtually by 14 members, asked the Technical and Development Subcommittee to make the recommendations. Aside from the expected recommendations on the Super Eagles coaching crew, the subcommittee is also recommending new coaching crews for the 3 other national teams within the same period of 5 days. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. Don't forget, you can subscribe to watch us live on YouTube and, of course, follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for joining us.